We're talking about my John cam, not that.
Oh.
All right, are we ready to get started?
We're ready, yeah.
All right. You should have had a Kyle cam, but you came unprepared. Hello, welcome to Egomaniac Podcast, where this podcast is all about you. My name is Jon McKenzie.
And my name is Kyle Hopper.
All right, let's get right into it. I have prepared 5 questions for you.
And I have done the same for you, Mr. McKenzie.
And this is going to kind of, I know that you had trouble with this word earlier, but
right.
This is an icebreaker.
Do we want to, before we get into that, do we want to tell them a little bit about what the podcast is about, or do we want to get straight into it?
I don't really care, but I don't.
But I feel like you have a better way of articulating it.
Look, so I feel like this podcast is about, and I like the way that you explain it because you put a positive spin on it, and mine's more self-deprecating, but the way that I felt this podcast is about is I can certainly look back in my life with a sense of criticism. You know, I'm not proud of how I was because I was an egomaniac sometimes, but it's made me who I am today. And I feel like you've truly gotten a grasp on your present if you can laugh at yourself in your past, you know, and
yeah.
You know?
I couldn't agree more. And so what we're going to be doing on this podcast is, although he and I both are egomaniacs and have been through seasons of heavier egomania than others, we're going to be talking. This podcast is going to be about our guests. Typically, we're going to usually have a guest on, and we're going to be asking them questions about their lives and just basically times in their lives where they may have leaned towards the area of egomania.
But you also, I liked what you said about what this means to you is how can ego be used in a positive way once you've kind of been humbled by yourself in a sense. You know? It's like we make these extraordinary plans. Life disagrees as it always does. I heard somebody say one time that if I wanted something in life and I actually got it, it was by dumb luck.
Yeah, that's good. Right.
But as a result of growth and understanding that we're not as in control of things as we think that we are,
right,
ego can be a positive thing.
Definitely, or it can be used for good. If you're not going to get rid of ego entirely ever. It's a necessary thing for survival, and then there's also egomania, which is going to be a difficult thing to get rid of at all.
But ego tells you to go back to college.
Sure, right, and another thought of it being the Egomaniac Podcast is that in general we feel that if you're going to start a podcast and you expect people to listen to you, there's at least some level of egomania involved in that.
Sure.
And so, but like he said, we're hoping to use some of that for good with this podcast, and hopefully we'll have we plan to have some really good guests on that are going to be.
I like them. I like some of the guests that we have outlined.
Right.
They're funny people that we certainly enjoy. There's interesting people that I enjoy, and there's people that I want to learn more about.
Sure.
It's,
inspirational people.
Sure. And I look forward to the guests that we're going to have on here.
Very much so.
This pilot episode is as you can see, just me and Kyle.
Yeah.
And it's your opportunity, the viewer or the listener, depending on what platform you're listening to us on. It's a chance for you to get to know us. Some of you may know me, but you don't know Kyle or vice versa. And so this is, in a sense, this whole episode is an icebreaker.
Right. Pretty much. And we're going to be working out some kinks, and we're kind of just trying to figure out.
What the viewer hasn't seen is we've been working out kinks for the last
3 months or 2 months at least, I guess.
Well, I was going to say the last 2 hours, but the last 3 months
that as well
has been, I think, what I'm learning is, and what you've learned as well, is to create good, positive content and technically proficient quality podcast. It requires a lot of shit.
A lot of shit, yeah.
And a lot of
money and a lot of effort, yeah. But we didn't want to, we could have gone the more humble route, which would be just starting with, John's got his little John cam here. So we thought we could have gone the more humble route and just started with setting our phone down and talking. But that's not the way we wanted to do it. We wanted to come out strong. So initially we may not be coming out too strong with content within this first episode. I mean, once we have the guest on, I'm not worried about that at all. But as far as this one goes, you'll see us as we're kind of learning how to do this. So anyways, we'll get right into, this first part. We're gonna ask each other a couple of questions. Some
kind of break the ice for the podcast. It'll let, if you don't know either one of us, you'll get to learn a little bit about the other. And
right.
And Kyle's got questions for me. I've got questions for him. We're going to alternate back and forth, and hopefully that gets this thing rocking and rolling. We also have some other fun segments that we will kind of do as this thing moves along. And
some of which will be user-generated or viewer-generated.
We've thrown some questions out there online, and we got good responses to them. And we'll be getting into some of that content as well in this episode. So
anyways, enough of that. I'm going to start. I'm going to start with just a simple one. We're going to ask John where he's from. Where are you from, John?
Well, that's a complicated question, I think, but an easy one as well. I grew up in a town called Watauga, Texas. I lived there until I was in 6th grade. And a lot of people don't know where Watauga is. A few people do. I've even met a couple people out here in Austin that are from there, which I feel bad for them as well. Watauga isn't necessarily a small town, but it is a white trash town. I think it's,
and that's okay to say. That's okay to say white trash. Go ahead.
What is it, not like PC to
no,
say?
No, that's it. I'm saying it is okay.
Yeah, if there's anybody listening from Watauga, I'm sorry if you don't see it that way, but I tell you what, move away from there, and then we'll see if you are still singing the same tune. So yeah, I'm from Watauga now. I moved to Arlington, Texas, home of the Texas Rangers, the first OG Six Flags.
Okay.
That's where I went to high school, and I went. I was a kind of a wild kid, so I was all over the place before I moved to Austin. Right.
And so speaking of, or do you want to? How do you want to do this? You want to go with a question on me
for you?
Okay.
Kind of the same thing. You grew up as a very, very, very wealthy white kid in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. What was that like?
That's not accurate, John. I did grow up in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. That's the Gulf,
very rich,
the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. It's about an hour east of New Orleans on I-10.
Only white person.
There were many whites, but
whites,
it was.
Can you say that?
Yeah, you can say that. So there was. I was not raised wealthy. I was raised in the upper middle class, probably, in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Like I said, it's the coast of Mississippi. It's it doesn't quite fit the reputation that Mississippi gets.
Why?
Although it still is within Mississippi. Just as far as the reputation of Mississippi generally being like very redneck, poorest, the
So
most
this is like the
most
wealthy part of
racist.
town.
Not so much the wealthy part. It's like just a little bit. I guess you could say there's still a lot of Mississippi in it, but I guess you could say it's a little bit more of a Ocean Springs, a little bit more of a liberal kind of artsy town than the rest of Mississippi.
So if there's any Mississippians listening, don't you wish you were from Ocean Springs?
And that's not at all what I'm trying to say either.
Traveling people, they go to Austin, they go to. You just went overseas and did a European tour.
That's true. I did do it.
Very,
European
very tour. Luxurious.
Right.
Wealthy.
Didn't you? Speaking of which, back to one of the questions that I was going to get to you. Didn't you live in Germany for a while?
I did after high school.
Okay.
It's one of the places that I moved to. That's another one of your questions.
No, it kind of just came up while we were talking about luxury.
Yeah,
and wealth.
I moved to Germany when I was 18, and I lived out there for about a year. I moved right after I graduated. Me and two of my friends who were also kind of rowdy. I think they have children and are married now. I'm the only one that stayed reckless. Wild card. We lived out there, and we had like little shitty jobs, and we traveled around.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Were you doing at that time? Were you doing art or what form of art were you doing?
I mean,
at
I've
that
always
time?
done art, but I kind of like painted some weird shit and
reckless boy art. Yeah.
I think back then, for a long time, all I was doing was illustration, and I got a PayPal thing in. What do you know about that?
Yeah. That's right. You sell art, correct? That's what you do for a living. And when did you start, since we're on the topic of art, when is it that you first started doing art? When did you get interested in art?
Well, I've done art my whole life.
Right, but not since you were a baby. There was a certain time when you kind of got a little more interested
Something I was
and
doing
capable
before
of
art when I was 3.
Not so much what were you doing. So 3.
Fishing.
So you started doing art at 3 is what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
like
gave up fly fishing and
old enough.
began doing art
Right.
at 3. Okay.
I grew old. I grew tired of fly fishing at 4.
And at what point did you first, if you recall, generate any revenue from art?
Okay, yeah, that one was, well, I tattooed.
6, 7?
Yeah. You know, actually, this is true, real deal shit right here. In 7th grade, I started selling art.
Really? Like to kids at school or what?
Well, yeah, like I was
friends?
saying, I illustrated for a long time. I started doing cartoons and stuff when I was young.
Okay.
When I was real little comic strips and stuff like that. And so in 7th grade, I was doing these little doodles of just, dumb shit that 7th grade boys would find funny.
Right.
People with like asses as faces. And,
okay. Yeah.
and I would photocopy them.
Okay. And sell prints. You were selling prints at 7th grade, huh?
Quarter or some shit like that. And
right.
then I would sell the original. I had the foresight to see you could sell the original for like $1 and sell the Xeroxes.
I was the go-to kid for like mixed CDs, which I would sell for usually like sometimes like $2 or something.
Young hustlers.
You could just fill out a piece of paper, bring me like, I want Nelly's, Hot in Here on there or whatever.
Because y'all were the only ones with internet.
Yeah, we weren't the only ones with internet, but I did have Kazaa and we did have a CD burner, and I think I just took an interest in music more than my peers, and so I was really just more willing to do it, and so it was easier for the other kids to just be like, oh yeah, I want these songs, and then I'd make a CD.
All right, well, just you're asking all the questions.
Oh yeah, it's your turn now.
Questions.
That's right. And
I did want to say
one question.
Yeah. However, if you see us looking off camera or when we're not looking at each other, we have Laser, a good friend of ours that's on the mixer, and she's kind of double checking all the tech stuff.
She's also known as Lindsay Laser Smith.
Hello, everybody.
Put her whole name on there. People
steal my social security.
Is
that okay?
number.
Do you want,
on Facebook,
is that too much to say Lindsay Smith? There's only a few of those.
There's only trillions of it.
Right.
Yeah,
okay. I'm pretty sure Laser dials it.
I bet you I could figure it
out.
out.
Yeah, with Lindsay Lasersmith, you could probably.
He's trying to hide my identity. You're trying to like blast it out.
I want to put it out there that she's back
fine.
there helping
when
us out.
people turn up at her crib jerking it, we'll know who did it. Okay, my question. I bought you a ukulele for your birthday and you pawned it. Why did you do that?
That's correct. I didn't pawn it. That's not. That's a fallacy.
Where is it?
It is. I returned it, and I got a. I don't think I have it on me. I got a Guitar Center gift card for it.
Don't pull it. He's looking in his wallet for a gift card. Like, that makes it better.
And we had, and I had discussed this with you before I ever thought about doing that, because and I discussed it with several other people. Like, is it okay to return a gift if you're not going to use it?
So this is a good question for Lindsay as a third party.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. So you purchase a gift for someone, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. And they look at you in your eyes and they said, "I'll never use this." Can I
Not
return it
when
and
they
get a
receive
gift
the gift, by the way. They take the gift.
Which makes it worse. They're like,
no.
"I love this."
Wait, Kyle, can you reenact like what you said when you first saw it?
Okay, all right. Give me the
Like,
ukulele.
here you go.
Yeah.
Here's your $400 ukulele.
It wasn't $400. Let me see. Oh, great, man. What is this? Cool. Is it going to be?
You said sweet.
Sweet. What is this? And then I was opening it up. Like, damn, maybe it's a mandolin. Maybe it's something
Why
else.
would it be a mandolin? Like,
because of the
those, like,
size.
But talk
Mandolins
about
are
the packaging,
same size.
No,
packaging.
like all the nice notes that I wrote all over it.
Oh yeah, there were some nice notes.
That.
I didn't.
He's a psycho.
I didn't memorize all the writing. It was written all over the entire thing. Of course, I didn't memorize
sweet,
all
nice
that.
things.
They weren't sweet, nice things. I don't recall exactly what they said, but I'm sure they weren't sweet and nice. So I opened it up, and it's a ukulele, and that was very nice of John to do.
A very nice ukulele.
It was a very nice ukulele. It was
quality.
High quality.
It
was $100 ukulele.
Okay, I was gonna say
only the
Put
finest
the
for
there.
my wealthiest friend.
So yeah, it was a very nice, considerate gift. The truth was that I was not going to use it. And so it was either going to be a piece to hang on my wall, which I considered, and it could have just done that, left it there. But then I was talking to John about another gift I had received, which was a show that I didn't particularly want to go to. I don't want to say what exactly, but and so I was talking. I was like, would it be like wrong if I just got like a credit with the venue that the show was at and went to another thing another time? And he encouraged that it was absolutely best to just be completely honest in these situations.
I said that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, that's the only reason that I was willing to say,
yeah, but that's different.
What? I don't think it is.
I don't think it's different.
Thank you.
No. That's recreation.
Yeah, so is a ukulele. What else?
No. That's your.
My what? My livelihood? Did you think I was going to be the next? What's the guy's name?
Ukulele might have taken you to your musical skill set to.
Right.
Wouldn't that be a trip if you became like if all your love
music was
reduced down to ukulele?
For context, I play guitar, and I've played for probably, I guess, like, I don't know, 7 years more seriously than I used to. Well, I've had one since I was like 12, and then I'd play, here and there, learn some songs here and there throughout the years. But I've actually like played on at least a weekly basis for about seven or 8 years probably. So that gives a little more context to the ukulele talk. But so what was the question?
I think you answered it. Yeah, you answered it. Why did you pawn the ukulele?
Okay, and I didn't pawn it. Pawning would imply that I could get it back, and
Oh,
that one is in someone else's
heaven forbid
hands. Some other young girl's hands is where that one is. All right. So
speaking of girls, wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would I think it was wrong or not?
Okay.
Right? That was the original question?
Yeah.
The answer is
why speaking of girl, because you're a girl?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I don't think it's wrong.
Okay, thanks.
But I would feel bad saying it to you if I was Kyle, and I would feel bad hearing it
right.
if I was John. But I also
and then
would like to be free if I got a gift. Like, I would like to have the freedom to be able to say, like,
right.
I'm not going to use it.
And wouldn't you feel even, after feeling bad about saying it, wouldn't you feel even worse? Can I speak? Wouldn't you feel even worse when they continued to bring it up after telling you that it was okay to?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Well, get used to it.
Yeah. All right, so back to a question of mine that I've got. Let's see here. So why do you want to do this podcast?
Well, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah. Okay.
No, I don't know. It seems fun. It seems like something I could jack around on and, fuck around on and hopefully come up with some good content and ideas and just be goofy on maybe. Right. I don't know.
Yeah.
If it sucks, I'll stop doing it.
Right.
If it's sweet, I'll keep doing it.
Yeah. Same. That's pretty much the same. It was kind of as much as I've listened to podcasts lately, particularly like comedians, but I listened to a whole bunch of podcasts and then combined with like having wanting to do some sort of creative endeavor. And then I've had such a hang up when it comes to music, as far as like actually producing stuff and putting it out there. I felt like this was an obvious step in the direction of just putting out material and it's out there and it's good. There's going to be growth with that. And so that was I think we're kind of on the same page with that. You can ask me a question now.
Okay. You're almost 30 years old, but you shave your ass. This is a troubling habit for a 13-year-old. Why do you continue to do it?
Okay, so why is... I agree completely that it's a troubling habit for a 13-year-old.
Right.
Yeah.
Why do you continue?
I'm 29.
Why do you keep doing it?
So you're implying that I started when I was 13. Is that what you're implying?
Just answer the question. Why do you keep doing it? I
don't know what you're talking about.
You're almost 30.
That's correct. Yeah. I'm almost 30. Yeah.
Why do you keep doing it?
Shaving a 13-year-old's butt off?
What?
Because for the record, I've never done that. I think we're just going to breeze past this one.
It's a troubling habit.
Yeah. Is that what your notes say? It's a troubling habit for a 13-year-old?
At 13, shaving your ass is a troubling habit.
I completely concur.
Why do you keep doing it?
All right. So back to a question of mine.
He never answered.
Yeah. On the record, I did answer. I agree. It's troubling for a 13-year-old to partake in those habits.
So
and
why do you still do it?
I also answered that I have never done that to a 13-year-old, nor have I ever seen that on a 13-year-old. So back to a question of mine. What is it? And you're going to have to, if you so choose, get it slightly more serious on this one. All right. So
buckle up.
But yeah, strap in, Daddy. So you're sober, right?
Yeah.
Clearly,
I need to be.
Right. So, besides getting sober, can you think of a time in your life that has garnered the most growth? In particular, no, just so it's all tied in with sobriety. You can't think of one other one other thing that maybe like was a catalyst of a change in perspective? Maybe
I was such just a unguided missile before I got sober.
Right.
That any opportunity for growth was just lost on me.
Yeah.
You know.
I get it.
If there was something positive or a situation that I could have fostered to grow or be grown by a situation, I was so out of that picture and just wouldn't. There was nothing that I could learn.
Right.
I wasn't thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. So same position here, but I guess so. You've been sober how long now?
Over 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I guess the question then would be, I can adjust it a little bit to be: has there been within the past 4 years any specific instances?
Oh, sure, they all are. It's literally that night and day for me. And I know quite a few sober people, and I think a lot of them would agree. However, I think that you'll hear the stuff like, before I got sober, I got married, and it was the biggest learning experience.
Right.
But
I had a kid, or whatever.
Yeah. My path, pretty much from adulthood early on. Earlier you asked about Germany. I did that at 18.
Right.
And it was just, as I got older, I was on a slow decline.
Well, I think even, and I agree with what you were saying about before sobriety, but I'm sure there was growth to be had in traveling to Germany and living in Germany, and I'm not even necessarily asking for you to elaborate on something.
All I developed out there was bad habits.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. Do you know something I don't know?
I might.
I ran around. I wish that I didn't party so hard while I was out there. I wish I had taken more pictures, and I wish that I know that I sightseed a lot.
I don't know if that's
sightseeing.
Sight saw
a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't remember half of it.
Right.
I was chasing girls and ready to get to the next club. I mean, we all were. Nobody was going to tell me anything different. They were all doing the same thing. But, I don't know. If there's anything that I can say, I don't have many regrets in life, but I wish I had gotten sober sooner. I'm definitely somebody that needed to get sober so I could start experiencing growth.
Sure.
But looking back at my life, I don't think that I had any epiphanies or catharsis as a result of anything, or came out the end of something better for it.
Right. Until sobriety.
Yeah, I couldn't handle anything good.
Yeah.
I was pessimistic and
so just based off of how your questions are going, I think I might answer a couple of my questions as well, considering you
don't think I have good questions?
I think maybe you just did your homework wrong a little bit.
Well, I want to ask another question.
All right, go ahead, and then I'm going to answer a couple of my own questions, maybe, so that the viewers can get to know.
You don't think that I have good questions? How about this banger?
All right.
You have a tremendous scorpion tattooed across your back. What makes you think that you've earned that?
That's true. That's I do have a tremendous scorpion with spelled SCWORPION, right? Scorpion. What makes you think that you've earned that? I don't think I've necessarily earned it, and I'm not really sure how one would earn that. But I got it at a time where I thought it was cool that I was a Scorpio, and
so you don't think that you earned it?
In order for me to determine whether or not I earned the tattoo, I would have to qualify how one earns a tattoo. All
right, what's your question now?
So sure, I'll say I earned it.
So it's known. He knows that he didn't deserve that tattoo.
That's not what I said. All right. So yeah, I said where I'm from. And as far as, let's see, what besides sobriety was the biggest shift in growth? would completely agree with you that like anything that happened, there was, certain things that kind of changed and built who I was as a person during, before addiction and during addiction. But as far as, I'm also in recovery from drugs and alcohol, and I've got a little over 7 years sober now. And I would say for me, my biggest growth period besides that was in moving out here to Austin from Mississippi. You make sure you get some good shots there.
Just tell your story. I'm doing my thing.
Aren't we talking? Are you? Didn't you ask me a question?
Yeah, the scorpion.
Right. So now I'm asking me a question. You're supposed to listen as if you asked me the question.
I didn't get the memo on that.
So I would say that moving out here to Austin was a big growth period for me. I think I had been so attached to not only like just kind of living a certain life back there, but also attached to like how ego fit into that. And back home, it's a much smaller town than Austin. So there was a level of like of ego that I carried as far as like just knowing a lot of people. A lot of people knew me. And just by the nature of growing up there, a lot of people liked me.
You were ready to get the fuck out.
Well, that's not what I'm saying. I wasn't at all. There were a lot of people that these were all good things for my ego, at least. And the fact that there was always somebody to call, somebody to go hang out with, somebody to go spend my time with, and kind of get out of my own head, I guess.
So why Austin?
So my brother was moving out here. He just got it in his mind that he wanted to move out here. David, my brother David, was moving out here, and I don't remember exactly why. And he asked me if I wanted to go, and I said yeah. And then within 2 months, we moved out here. And so in moving out here, I didn't know anybody, and so there was. With that, it was a very scary experience, going from, like I said, somebody who had a lot of friends back home and then moving out here, and I was nobody in a much bigger city than where I'm from, and so that was terrifying. And with that, that's kind of around the same time. There were some other things that went in with that, like some other some other addictions.
Let's get into those.
Let's get in. Well, all right.
Later episode?
Maybe so.
Tune in to episode 2 of Egomaniac Podcast.
Right. So,
where it's all about you.
So there were, since I've been sober, I've gone through different seasons of being addicted to other things. And one of those things kind of came to a bottom of sorts, came to a head.
As things do.
And
there's always a bottom to the bottom.
Around the same time that I moved out here to Austin. So with that, that was around the time that I started really diving into like meditation and some other spiritual practices and stuff. And so with that, I would say that would be probably the biggest period of growth other than just kicking alcohol and drugs. Who
do you think has better access to serenity, me or you?
Do you just want the viewers to know that? Who do you think?
You.
I would.
But agree. I wanted to hear you say it
because it's egomaniacal for me to say.
Can you see my slides in the camera?
No, show the camera your slides.
No, let's not do all that.
No, definitely not.
All right.
Yeah.
So
this studio belongs to me, so I'll wear whatever I want in here.
Yeah. So we're in John's living room here.
I pay.
John's not even wearing pants.
I rent this studio.
Yeah. All right. So, do you have another question for me?
Yeah. I reached out to one of your best friends in Ocean Springs, Win Steele, and he asked me to have you tell the story about almost getting arrested and the $2,000.
All right, this is
Win Steele.
This is strange, man, because I do know Win Steele, but you clearly just went through my Facebook friends and found a completely random name that you thought sounded cool and went and composed this question.
Theft.
But what's funny about this is, because I know that this didn't happen, you didn't reach out to this person. What's funny about this is that there's a good chance
please confirm. Leave a Facebook comment, YouTube comment. We'll pin this question.
Yeah, that'd be great. Win. I'm interested to hear Win's.
How about you tell your version of the story? Kyle almost getting arrested, $2,000. Asked her $2,000.
So I know that this is a false. Again, I know that this is a false thing that John is coming up with. However, it's like so plausible, the fact that I may have almost got arrested with Win Steele, or that Win Steele would have known about me almost getting arrested or getting arrested. I
reached out to him, one of your best friends.
That's not true. This is one
of your very best friends that you left.
That's pretty clever. But yeah, so John went to my Facebook and found a friend named Win Steele on there.
Did I?
Apparently, yeah. I mean, how else would you have, if you had reached out to him, how else would you have found this person?
Asked around.
Ooh.
You're not the only one that knows Ocean Springs.
Yeah, that's true. In fact, our guy back there, Laser, has been to Ocean Springs. She had some art in the greenhouse on Government.
I did. Cool spot.
So, all right.
I have a bonus.
Let me go with my question first. Or is this question related to this strange Win Steele question?
No, it's separate. It's a separate issue.
Right. Well,
it needs to be tackled.
So we'll get back into mine. What made you want to be friends with me?
Oh man, I feel like I need kinder friends in my life, but had I known who you were,
who I
really are,
okay,
I probably wouldn't be friends with you.
So at the time of becoming friends with me, if you knew who I really was,
right,
you wouldn't have been friends.
Because I thought you were. Everybody called you back then, Gentle Kyle.
I know I did. Definitely.
They're like, oh yeah, Gentle Kyle.
Yeah.
Like,
gentle.
You know the one.
Kyle.
And I'm like,
right.
I don't. I just moved here, And they're
right.
like, oh, go ask. Gentle Kyle would probably know, I'm like asking what the softest toilet paper is.
Oh,
they're
okay.
Like, oh, Gentle Kyle's, he loves that stuff.
The soft.
He knows about ferrets.
Right.
Like he's got tons of, little bunny rabbits. And
right.
He knows how to bake.
Yeah, that's true. All those things are true.
He knows how to play a tambourine. Ask Gentle Kyle.
So you heard about this Gentle Kyle who baked, played the tambourine, had a bunch of ferrets.
Yeah, he knows about all that stuff.
And you thought, you know what, that guy needs to be my friend?
Yeah, well, I was going through a rough period back then.
Okay.
I just crash landed in Austin. I didn't want to come here. I like it here. But, life had gotten real dark.
Yeah.
And so
you
I just needed
some
a friend that would accept me
for who you were,
where I was, the goblin that I was, and everybody's like, "Oh, Gentle Kyle, go ask for my guy."
Yeah,
that's what they would say.
Yeah.
Go over here to this place, this pet store, and ask for my guy, Gentle Kyle.
Right.
He volunteers there.
Yeah.
He volunteers at all kinds of places, and you can go to any of them, and he's always willing to lend an ear.
So and then
what they would say.
Okay, so
lend an ear, Gentle Kyle.
So at what point did you realize that you had gotten in over your head?
Well, you roped me into all sorts of stuff. I wish, I would do anything to play the ukulele.
All right. So you had another question for me since you're not going to give any serious answers.
Gentle Kyle. What do you want me to? You want me to sit here and lie? You want me to compliment you?
No. That's not what I'm saying. I just wanted to. It's not so much that I wanted a compliment. In fact,
This is why
Go
why
ahead.
I'm friends with you. I always wanted to be friends with a sociopath.
Okay. Well,
scooch back a little.
Lindsay Laser Smith is a notorious
Hot on the
sociopath.
mic. Our PA Laser, it could be.
Very well could be. I say this a lot, and I think it needs to be said.
But then every now and then she says something sweet, and you look in her eyes, and you can tell that there's
nothing back there.
Well,
There's some stuff.
I was going to say
Yeah,
that there's like
there's
a
some plans and schemes.
How am I looking on the equalizer on there? Am I shouting?
No, you're good now.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to have loud spikes on the podcast.
No, I'm not fishing for compliments because obviously that's not what I would start a podcast with you for.
The theme of this
but
podcast
I guess there,
is-
I guess there, as much as there's going to be levity, I want there, I think
to
we
be context.
plan there for also to be some seriousness within the podcast about
let's
growth.
See. Let me think back. When because you remember this better than I do. So I was living in North Austin.
Right.
And I moved to South Austin. And for those who are unfamiliar with Austin, you hear about it and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's a fun, zany place or whatever. But it's not quite that simple because North Austin, South Austin,
Right.
West, I don't
East
even know.
Austin.
West Austin is like
That's for the
it's
wealthy,
like
I think.
Cave or something.
For the wealthy,
Yeah.
and the old.
You don't ever hear about West Austin,
Right.
That's how the wealthy like to
Not
keep
among
it.
our.
Well,
people that
my
we hang-
kind.
Yeah.
They're probably speaking your language.
Nah,
You probably got a compound out there. But I moved to South Austin, which is like the cool artsy, creative scene. Everybody's a little bit more laid back in South Austin.
Right. It's kind of what it seems.
I didn't know anybody.
It is definitely. I would agree that North Austin and South Austin seem to almost be two completely different towns.
Would you say that you rarely get angry, like legit, like
I would say if I were to compare it with most of the people I know, I think it'd be safe to say that I rarely get legit angry. Yeah,
I'm sure that played into it.
Yeah.
It's like people build relationships on opposites, right? Isn't that what they say? Opposites attract or something.
right. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
I mean, we have similarities and
Right,
sense of humor and
it's probably true.
I don't know. Maybe
I think
you were just
sense of
available
humor
at the time.
Yeah,
You had
right.
an opening.
Right, that might have been what it
Now
was.
I
maybe just had an opening.
remember when I first saw you hanging around, and I thought you were a real cocksucker.
Did you?
Yeah, because you were like Mr. Cool Guy.
I was garnering attention away from you at sometimes or something.
Well, I didn't have any friends. I didn't know anybody.
Oh, you read just
and
come
I was
to
on
South.
the
That's
periphery,
right.
and there were so many nice people.
I was nice. Why do I got to be a cocksucker?
No, you were sitting at the head of the table, soaking it all in,
Yeah.
And I'm like, this fucking guy. That's one of the reasons I wanted to take you out.
You wanted to take me out, yeah.
I'm like, this guy needs to be cut down a peg. He looks like a rich white kid from Ocean Springs or something.
Yeah, you knew Ocean, so you just could tell it was from Ocean Springs,
I know
Mississippi.
Win Steele and his sister Gwen Steele.
I don't think that's accurate.
Gwen and
know.
Win, the Danger Twins from Ocean Springs.
I wonder how Win Steele's doing. Win Steele, if you see this, reach out to
Probably
me.
fucking being the president of the cool fucking name club out there. Like,
he does have a
fucking
really cool
Jesus.
name, man.
How is
Him and
his first
Sloane
name spelled?
WYNNE.
I believe, or it just NN.
Maybe E. I don't know. I just talked to him on the phone. I didn't read it. But Win.
Would you say Win Steele or Sloane Breeden is a cooler name?
Oh man, Sloane Breeden by Sloane. We got to get. Well, maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
We know a guy named Sloane Breeden,
And it's a pretty cool name.
And sometimes I have to. His name is so cool, sounding that I have to dumb it down.
And calls them Sloane Breeden.
Sloane Breeden. And that, like, puts them back on my level.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you got to do. What you got to do is if somebody has a real cool name,
you got to mess it up.
You got to dork it up some.
Yeah, right.
Okay, my final question is, my mom says I'm mean to you. Tell her she's wrong.
What's your mother's name again?
Jana. Her name's Jana.
Your mother's name's Jana?
Yeah.
Jana, you're not wrong.
Answer the question.
I'm answering the question. He is mean. He's mean to most people that he knows.
Don't say that.
He's a vicious.
This is the first podcast.
Snake of a person.
This is the very first podcast.
No, that's not true, Mrs. Jana.
I think
he's not mean. He's a little rough around the edges.
Rich soul.
He's
that's how a lot of people describe me.
He's an egomaniac. He is.
Do you know that's what
angry
they called
and
me?
Reactive?
That's what they called me back in
But I
Dallas?
wouldn't say that he's mean to me at all.
Rich soul.
Really. I don't believe that one bit.
That's all my
that
question.
Yeah.
That's all.
So
your
what?
questions?
So is because people in Dallas called you Rich Soul? Is that what you think earned you that tattoo?
Which one?
The one on your face that says Dallas.
Well, I was forgetting where I lived all the time, so
that's what it
that's
was. Why didn't you do it backwards so that when you saw a mirror, you would have known where you were at? It just said you were at salad. It just reminded you about salad.
Salad with 2 L's.
Yeah, right. That's a good point. All right, so yeah, as this pans out, and as we get into more episodes and we're interviewing other guests, us being egomaniacs, we're going to be talking about ourselves some as well. So you'll learn more about us as we go.
Hey, and listen, we want you on the show. If you can honestly appraise your life and you know that you have the capacity to be an egomaniac, that's the people that we want on here.
For sure.
I think that the worst thing that could happen is somebody come on this show and think that their shit don't stink.
Right. And then just be baffled by any sort of questions that we would dare ask them.
Right. Go on the other podcast. Cool rich white kids from Ocean Springs or something. That
is my other podcast. I'm doing with Win Steele.
I'm not allowed on that one.
Yeah, me and Win Steele are doing
take your fucking sandals off and run the mixer.
Right. So yeah, but we would love to have. We've got. We're slated right now. We've got probably 7 or 8 guests that are kind of lined up right now. Some of them wildly famous, and then others not so much.
If you, we're gonna have Wayne Gretzky on next episode 2.
Right.
If you think that you want to be on Egomaniac Podcast, we'll be happy to vet you.
We'll put a link below to our Instagram, or below the YouTube. This will be on YouTube if you're listening anywhere else.
If you're listening on Audible or
whatever,
iTunes,
we're not sure what all formats will be on, but
go
for
to
sure
the YouTube page.
Yeah,
leave a comment.
Right,
and we'll pin some. I know.
And you can also go to we got a Facebook page, Egomaniac Podcast
/ Egomaniac Podcast.
Correct.
That's
and then there's also our Instagram, which is at Egomaniac Podcast. So any of those places, or egomaniacpodcast@gmail.com, you can email us. So we are going to link all those below the YouTube video. So, and we'd love to have you basically just... You don't have to be anybody special, or if you feel like you are somebody special, we may
I'd love that.
Yeah,
come on this podcast and tell me why you're better than me.
Right. I love, but that doesn't mean that's who. That doesn't mean that by coming on this podcast you think you're better than anybody. In fact,
yeah, that's right.
Maybe the contrary. So
we want somebody that can laugh at themselves.
For sure.
That's going to wear... Do you know what this shirt's from?
Walmart?
You know who Big Tex is, right?
Yeah. You got that from the statue? Or from the... What do you call it?
R.I.P.
I don't think... You think you're that big. You feel that big that came off of his body.
This is
so
the
look
shirt.
up. Yeah.
This is the shirt he wears.
No, I get it. Yeah.
This is the design.
Was he wearing a Dickies shirt?
Yeah.
Okay.
Dickies sponsored.
He burned, didn't he?
Yeah, he
burned
fucking R.I.P.
Burned
man.
down to the ground.
The OG Big Tex.
What goes up must come down.
Well, there's an older one. There's one older than the one that burnt down.
It also burned down. What happened to the older one?
He just got became obsolete. Yeah. He was
Hurricane Katrina.
If you look up pictures of
Katrina?
him, and hopefully right now we could bring up some photos of him, but he is horrifying. The OG Big Tex.
Okay.
The second one got slightly less horrifying, and he was more
You
approachable.
mean he's horrifying by how much he was weathered, or just from the start?
It was very
brand
frightening
new, he was
looking,
frightening
very
person.
like a ventriloquist dummy. Like that sort of like
I have seen I think the newer
hollow,
one I've seen.
cold,
Yeah.
dead eyes. And,
Right.
And
Right.
he had this mechanical, welcome to the state. And it was just, children didn't like him. The second one.
Did you like him as a child?
Well, I think that was before my time.
Okay.
Now, I do remember the second one.
as a child.
And
You had a fondness for him?
I looked on him with awe. He's gigantic.
Yeah. Did you look at most like grown men when you were a child
with fondness? Like, I can't wait. And that is true. I can't wait to get
be
older.
one of those
and now
people.
that I'm here,
you're wearing the shirt and everything, and it's come full circle.
Yeah, Big Tex, R.I.P. burnt to the ground, horrified all the children.
Right. So here in a minute, we're gonna get into
we got segments.
We got a couple of segments that we're gonna do. We're gonna get into those here in just a minute. I'm gonna kick it off with one that I proposed and that John is slightly baffled by. But I just want to do it. So basically, I'm going to be
quartet board. Quartet for when you need to get it done.
Right. That's
quartet.
What we're doing. So a couple of the segments we're going to be doing is we're going to touch on a little bit of current event news. We're typically going to have some user submissions, which will be like suggesting a movie for us to watch that's like an obscure, not necessarily obscure, but like a movie that's your favorite, but not necessarily hailed as the best, not The Godfather 1 or 2.
Yeah, something that I haven't heard of.
But maybe something we haven't heard of, or maybe something that like we did hear of but never even considered watching. Maybe it was a kids movie or whatever.
We'll figure out what to call it. It's just like woefully underrated or something.
Right. And so we'll watch that and we'll just kind of...
This is your security blanket movie. Your teddy bear. Your
right.
This is... Nobody appreciates
or
this.
Either that or the movie that just really truly feels like it changed your life in some way or changed your perspective on, because people have those. I'm not sure that I necessarily have that.
Yeah, I've got some.
I've got some
bada bing, bada boom.
Slightly alternate
right here.
So do you
get that bad
so
boy?
He's referring to "I'm Still Here" with Joaquin Phoenix.
I'm still here because when I got sober. Actually, when shit got real dark at the end, and I just have to clarify, I'm not a dirty heroin addict. Let me fucking... Oh, wait. I got to videotape it. There we go.
He doesn't mean that for any heroin addicts listening out there.
Well, I just thought...
He doesn't consider you dirty, nor does he consider me or...
Yeah, I'm an alcoholic.
Else
so,
dirty.
But anyways, when it got real dark out there... I would watch that movie a lot, and a lot of people were like, really? Why? Isn't that mockumentary?
So earlier in the segment, you'll notice a lot. You'll notice this happening a lot. John contradicting himself. Earlier in this episode, he said that nothing could have possibly changed anything, or there couldn't have been any growth before sobriety.
There was no growth that came.
And well, that's kind of what I was saying. Something that was life changing, like growth. There was growth. In a life-changing experience, there can either be... So were you saying you were traumatized by this movie?
No, it was a source of comfort for me.
Okay,
I didn't...
So back to your original
one.
So the comfort, the blankie.
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
I related to that movie, and it didn't necessarily give me hope, but I envied...
Right.
His character in the movie.
Sure.
I mean, he plays like kind of an alternate universe version of himself.
Right.
Where he hypothesizes what it would be like if his, bing, bang, boom, if his ego had gotten the best of him.
Yeah.
He's this actor in the limelight, and he's won lots of awards. What would happen if he blew the fuck up and started buying his own bullshit too much? And in the movie, if you haven't seen it, he decides he wants to be a rapper. He starts listening to more and more rap.
Yeah, you can. We can link the description
Shit
of the
gets
movie
bad
below.
for him.
So another, there's going to be those. There's going to be news. There's going to be several segments. When we have a guest on, there'll be some other segments. One of the ones that I wanted to do was just basically. I'll just quit beating around the bush and get into it. So I'm going to talk about like different sayings that we often use, and I'm just going to look up the definition of it so you no longer have to wonder about it. One of the one that I'm going to talk about today is the origin of the phrase "beat around the bush."
Dude, can I guess what it is?
Yeah, that's we can do that. John's gonna guess what "beat around the bush."
Beat around the bush.
The etymology basically of the phrase.
Beat around the bush means like.
Well, first, what does it mean? What do you think? Yeah, what do
dilly dally is what it means.
Okay.
Like you're beating around the bush. Like you're
typically
not getting to the point.
Typically verbally, right? Like in conversation, you think it means.
Yeah, that guy's beating around the bush. Get to the point.
Yeah,
right. And I would think that it came from.
Someone jerking off in the
no. The bush.
Louis C.K.
The bush needs to be beaten.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're not. You're just beating all around it instead of.
Okay. And why do you think the bush needs to be beaten? Let's get into that.
Because there's bees in it or rodents.
And so we're just kind of cleaning the bush by beating.
Yeah. It's like out there. Okay. It's a decoration out in front of the house and
quit beating around the bush and beat the bush.
Beat the fucking get to the bush.
Okay.
Because it's full of vermin. And it's out in front of the house, and we had to go to the plant nursery, and get this thing. It cost a lot of money, and now it's fallen in disrepair.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Some could say that's a decent guess. So what it is the origin of the phrase "beat around the bush." I read this before we started filming. It's basically it was hunters would beat around the bush to have birds come out of it, which then they could then shoot.
Yeah, I do that on Red Dead.
Yeah.
Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah. So that's what beating around the bush comes from. The figurative meaning of the odd phrase beat around the bush, or as it is usually expressed in the UK, beat about the bush in the UK, evolved from the earlier literal meaning. In bird hunts, some of the participants rouse the birds by beating the bushes and enabling others to use a much later phrase to cut to the chase and catch the quarry in nets. So beating around the bush was the preamble to the main event. So get to the point. Yeah. So that's that's what beating around the bush. That's the etymology of that.
We need like a little fucking tune or something to
symbolize beating around the bush.
Play like a little.
Yeah.
Oh, and that reminds me.
A little like.
I have now. I offered you the. I don't know, getting up in the mic and screaming in it.
Yeah.
You had the opportunity to bring a decoration for the table.
I didn't. You told me that. So I was supposed to be here at 6:30. You called me at about 6:25 and you told me to bring.
So I get two things.
This was trickery. He used trickery to do this, and I don't think that you should be able to use two things. I'll probably be replacing one of these on the next episode. I do like the lemon bush. That one can stay. It doesn't necessarily need to be in front of my face. You can maybe pull it back a little bit. And a snake. Now
snake's out of shot.
Okay. And there's also a snake, which I also have a snake, a large snake tattooed on me, which I did earn. And you looks like you got some snakes on you as well, which I
got a snake on me.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucked off looking.
So yeah, we both got a couple of those. I think I maybe earned it. And
I don't think I have more than one. I do have some trash.
Actually, you probably earned the snake more than I did.
Yeah. Let me see.
Tell us
This is I got this as a reference material.
And for those just listening, John's holding now a rubber snake. He just put on the table a little fake lemon tree and a, what do you call that? A wooden snake.
Well, that's a copperhead. That's a rattlesnake.
Was this an actual
Look,
he's got a
this
wooden.
is a guy
plastic.
that makes these. Michael Carr Designs.
Okay,
And I
Michael
looked him
Carr
up.
Designs.
I looked him up. He does yard ornaments.
Oh, nice. So that's a yard ornament.
Yeah, and then I got this other one over here.
And then
I'm gonna do a
John's-
new series of paintings with snakes
and
and
lemons.
flowers and stuff. Yeah, and lemons
lemons.
and all that.
Great.
So there's.
That sounds very cool.
I'm not just a madman that buys dumb shit. I
That
got
sounds-
these off of a website.
That's a really cool idea, and it
Amazon,
sounds very
if you
cool, and
ever
that's
heard
a sincere compliment, and that's how you do it. So another segment we're going to get into
lemon
now.
tree.
Another segment we're going to get into now is news, basically current events. We don't know. We'll typically the idea for this segment was going to be to kind of find the egomania in the news. We're not necessarily going to stick with that, but so for now, Lindsay's just going to kind of tell us what's going on in the news, and we'll.
Did y'all hear about the train that hit the trees in Oregon?
No.
So you,
The train. So the train that hit the trees in Oregon. Okay.
Yeah, there were like several trees in the railroad.
Let's look this up real quick.
Okay. Yeah. Pull that up for us, John.
About 200 passengers got stranded for a day and a half.
Jesus
in the
Christ.
snow.
Wow.
Passengers band together on a train stuck in the Oregon
Mountains. Okay.
Here's a picture of.
So is this like North Oregon or South Oregon? Do we know?
Does it matter?
I don't know.
Here's a picture of two children sitting on what looks like to be a church pew, eating some food and water.
Yeah.
And what is this? Almost 200 people aboard, hit down trees. I bet you somebody put those there.
It was during a blizzard, so.
Yeah. So probably nature.
God, how do you
Mother
think they
Nature.
pulled it off,
God
man?
probably put them. Yeah. Mother Nature probably put them there.
Somebody. Well, that's crazy. Our hearts go out to the.
So how did people die?
No one died, and apparently they got fed really well, and Amtrak was.
Well, how is this?
They got
their
fed
whole
really
trip.
well by
yeah,
who?
they were eating steaks apparently.
Oh, so like
People that
it was
worked
still
on
the cook.
train.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So they just got a little they got compensated, or what did you say?
Yeah, they got refunded for their trip.
Okay, so they got their money back.
It was
Yeah.
really
They still got
nice
to go
to
on their
meet
trip.
people pulling together. Passenger Tracy Rhodes of Scottsdale, Arizona, said in a phone interview after the train that was traveling from Seattle to Los Angeles rolled back into the college town of Eugene, Oregon, with a clanging bell announcing its arrival. Passengers spilled out, some waving their arms high in jubilation.
Jubilation. Nice.
So a bunch of guys traveling from
and that's a word
from L.A. spilling out into Oregon.
Yeah.
Life can't get more terrible.
And how long were they stranded?
They were stranded for 36 hours.
Eating-
But
Okay,
there
so
were-
a day,
Steak and eggs.
a little over a
Yeah.
day. Yeah, they got to sleep.
Apparently, a bunch of kids.
To
were,
some
and
people,
eggs.
this is a
elderly.
vacation.
Kids were helping. Were
The elderly, 'cause there were elderly people traveling on there. and
Okay,
they
I
didn't
feel
know how
bad
to,
for them.
Use
The-
technology and
right.
stuff to reach out to their family.
So the kids were helping them make
Yes,
phone calls
the
and
younger
stuff.
kids and
Jesus.
such.
How
But
is
they
this-
didn't know how long they were
That's
going to
cool.
be there.
So it's a harrowing
They were
story.
scared. People were already
It's
hoarding
a boring
food.
story, is what it is. It
I
doesn't
think
sound like news.
It's
to
slightly
me.
interesting. Thanks for bringing that
Okay,
one.
well, the next one's definitely more interesting.
All right,
Let's
hit
see
us
what
with
this
it.
is. Kyle liked it.
I'm glad
so-
that everybody's okay with that. I'm glad that there were no deaths.
Yeah, more train stories for Kyle.
Yeah, keep coming with the train stories.
I get high
Definitely.
off of them.
Let's hear
this.
another
Trains
one.
and trains only.
So what is this, Lasers? Swiss cheese pervert.
Yes, it's
I like,
not.
I like that. That's you.
Don't talk too closely into the mic.
Yeah, you're
They don't
getting
want-
kinda hot.
They don't want to hear you scream at them.
Screeching John.
But if you do want to hear John scream at you, just send us a DM at Egomaniac Podcast, and we can make
And
that happen.
I'll come to your house and
Right.
scream in your face.
He will. Unless you're a woman, then you'll have to come to his house. Go ahead, John. Lazar.
Okay, well, it's not new news, but it's good news, I guess. The Swiss cheese pervert.
Okay, I heard about this guy.
Yeah.
He's called a Swiss cheese pervert. Is that what he's called?
Yeah.
He would try to pay. He would pull up next to women and try to pay them
Let me pull this
to
up, too.
watch him jerk off with a piece of Swiss cheese.
Oh, I did hear about this guy.
So brilliant.
Yes. Much more interesting than a train.
'Cause he kinda
but
hits
way
you-
less current. 'cause
He
this
kind of
happened,
hits you with
4
the
years
This was a
razzle
while
dazzle.
ago,
This was
wasn't
a
it?
long time
Yeah.
ago, but it's a good.
So
He hits
why
you
is
with
it?
that-
Is this
with
a
that.
recent article though?
The fast
That
moves.
freakiness.
Yeah. And they're like, what is this? Like the cheese?
Not.
And he's like, I'm going to put my pecker in it.
So what this guy
he said
did...
that he liked it because cheese reminded him of girls because
Oh,
he would
did it?
always, like, when he was young, he was fat, he was getting rejected, he didn't have
And
any
he'd go home and eat
girlfriends.
cheese.
No, he noticed that girls were always eating ice cream and other dairy products, and so then he started associating...
For real?
Yes, really.
Golly.
You know a lot
started-
about this guy, huh?
I know.
A meandering
Into
path
some
to
weird
a
true
fetish.
crime stuff.
But that's how it
Interesting.
goes. Like, it all goes back to
Yes.
childhood.
Yes,
and the next thing
definitely.
you know, you're jerking your pecker off with some...
Cheese.
Strangers.
Why Swiss
Mozzarella.
cheese? And it was always
Well,
Swiss
It
cheese.
was always
Yeah, he
Swiss
said
because
it
it
was
was the
Swiss cheese.
holy or...
Yeah, the holes, he liked that. Felt like
Yeah.
it was feminine. Also, he would eat other kinds of cheese, but he didn't eat that kind of cheese.
He wouldn't
Like,
eat
that was
Swiss.
specifically
That was only for sex.
for
Okay.
jerking off with.
This
like,
guy,
he would
okay.
rub it on his dick and, like, pay people just to watch him rub
See,
it
this is
on
how
his
it goes,
dick.
man. In Japan's full of people like this.
With fetishes.
Wow.
With
yeah,
strange
with like
fetishes. Yeah.
very particular fetish. If you got a particular
And just
fetish,
to clarify, he's speaking on people who were born and raised in Japan and still live in
that's
Japan.
where you got to go. If you
Yeah.
got a real particular fetish,
Yeah.
Japan's where you got to go.
Japan's the spot, huh?
Yeah, because they got
so
all the
what,
weird stuff.
what is
going
it
on
you were
there.
telling me that is
Are we
your...
allowed to talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, based on what we've talked about thus far, I think it's probably okay.
Black
You
market
were telling
fetish.
Laser and I about your weird fetish earlier. What was
For
it?
serapes?
What's that?
Yeah, I'm into the. Oh, I got all kinds of weird fetishes.
yeah, serapes. Yeah.
I got some spooky ones.
Well, we won't get into those. What's the next article? Let's do the next one.
Okie doke. The next one is about
Kid
the
Buu.
rapper Kid Buu claiming that he is a clone and then
Actually,
having
before
an
we-
IG stream video with his clone.
Real quick, Laser.
Oh,
back to
okay.
this cheesy guy.
Yeah.
What ended up? He got arrested.
Yes, he pleaded guilty for it for like
That's noble.
yeah.
He
I
stands
think
beside his
soliciting or indecent exposure, but
Okay,
he-
so with the indecent, didn't he ask them? So he would ask, "Do you want what did he do? What was his?"
yeah, he would pull
MO?
up next to women in Philadelphia in his car with a piece of Swiss cheese, and he would like,
already around his
holding
Okay.
it up like a
like a
hey,
flag.
yeah,
like
like a
check this.
badge of honor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a badge of honor, and then he would ask if he could pay them to watch him rub it on his dick.
Yeah, so they don't know what's going
Sometimes
on.
it
But he
says
wouldn't start
even
doing
rub
it.
Sometimes he would just pile it on.
He's
and
like,
not
check out
do
this.
no
I got
hands.
some.
but he would be
Sargento.
erect. He would be erect
It's
during
Swiss,
this.
baby. Yes.
Okay, and was he erect already when could they see that he was erect when he showed
I
up?
think
You
that
don't know.
they were. I think that he was.
Let me
but
ask you this.
He has to take sex offender counseling.
Now, if you look at
in
the
his
photo of the
thing.
guy, he's a big old
Pervert.
big
So-
old fat piece of shit.
Let me ask you this,
He's a big
Laser.
dude.
If this big fella asks you if he can pay, so he pays you, or
Yeah.
you, okay, if he can pay you to watch him jerk with some mozzarella or some Gouda, or it's always Swiss, yeah,
It's always Swiss.
with some Swiss cheese,
That's
while
the
maybe
thing.
you eat some mozzarella or Gouda. How
Yeah.
much would it require for him to pay you for you to go
Yeah, that's
ahead?
a good-
Oh,
question.
how much?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were gonna ask if I would, and
No, well, you can't just say that because what if it's $1 or what if it's $5 billion? You know,
Right,
so how
true.
much does it take?
But there's a lot of mistrust happening in this situation. That's why I think it would especially be a lot, because he would pull up with a piece of cheese, and I would be so confused.
You're
like,
already-
this guy will
That's-
probably
this guy's
murder
crazy.
Me.
That's
Right.
his way.
Yeah.
Razzle dazzle.
Razzle dazzle, yeah.
Check
Yeah.
this out.
Right.
Also, watch
to
what I'm going
say.
to do with it and how much.
So let me give you a number then. Let's say he offers you $5,000 and you're in a public
restaurant.
yeah.
I think he's always in the car, which also makes it scarier.
That's what the
'Cause,
Okay.
like, if you're gonna get in the car, then he could take you somewhere.
Oh, so you got to get in his car?
Yeah.
What if he's like, "All right, fine. I'll get in yours."
No, hell no.
No.
All right,
Crimes
fine.
happen like that
All right.
too.
What if he's like, "All right, fine. You stay in your car. I'm going to park next to
Okay,
you."
my boyfriend's with me.
Sure,
and
your
he
boyfriend's
can
with
get
you.
in the car with
and
me. Okay.
what's her boyfriend's name?
Huh? Jomar.
Oh,
Yeah.
no,
And and back to earlier in the episode, John said that you got to change someone's name if it's too cool. So he's respecting him by saying that he's got a very cool
that's
name.
kind of you.
Yeah. So anyway, so Ummer's in the car with you, and this guy pulls up, and he's going to be just next to you. Or no, he's getting in the car with your boyfriend in, right?
Me and my boyfriend are getting in the car. With
you
Swiss
and
cheese pervert.
you and Emma are getting in with
He's
Swiss
his
cheese
comfort
pervert.
Zone.
Okay.
I don't want my car to smell like cheese.
Okay.
You know.
But he's not paying double.
No.
Yeah. Just to make sure y'all need to know that.
Yeah.
He's not going to pay double.
Yeah, that's fair.
So all right. So you get in how much? $5,000?
Yeah.
500?
No, not 500.
I don't know. You said yeah pretty quickly to $5,000.
$5,000. That's pretty good.
$2,000.
Not do anything.
$2,000.
Are you the guy or something? What are you haggling? Or like, what's the purpose of this? I think this is your fetish.
Maybe I'm trying to figure out.
To ask people questions.
It is
about would you do? Would you?
Yeah.
Until you just debase yourself.
All right, so let me ask you this now. So you get arrested for one of your sick perverted things.
So I'm the big boy with the cheese.
Yeah, you're the big boy with the cheese. All right,
and his mindset too. That's like fucking some twisted shit.
Yeah, it's a tough.
But if it's your shit, it's not so twisted. Everybody else is that's how crazy works.
Well, apparently he feels really guilty, like immediately.
No, I mean I'm sure it was. I'm sure it was.
Feels like a freak.
It's like we were saying. It was definitely a very distorted perversion that
you can't.
That just got worse and worse over time.
People like what they like, and they can't help it. They're sexually attracted to what.
It's not as. I don't feel like it's as simple as people like what they like, because when you get into things where you're either molesting or doing illegal activity, that's more than just people like what they like.
No.
Yeah.
I guess here my point is you can't help what you're into. You know what I mean?
That part's true.
Right.
You can't help it if you like to jerk off with Swiss cheese.
Right.
And that you want
that's
somebody
what I mean.
to watch.
Like,
right.
That's all I meant is like what however you're wired.
You can't help that.
You can't help it. So he's got to say that.
And there's probably a good chance that at this point, by the time he was approaching women with this, that he couldn't help but approach women with this. There could have been times
probably
before
tried
that
a
where he
lot
could have
of
stopped.
shit.
There were probably
I'm sure.
a lot of people that did it too.
A lot of Swiss. Wait, hold up. What? A lot of guys jerking off with Swiss cheese?
No, women.
A lot of women that took the money.
He probably got some takers before he got paid.
I'm sure he did. I mean, if he was.
But I'm sure he was on some forums, like, talking all that weird shit,
Okay, so Kid B-U-U, hangs out with man he claims in his... Wait. Who claims is his clone on Instagram Live.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I heard about this kid back in the day, and
what is he, a rapper?
Yeah, well, nobody of consequence, I don't think, but I don't know. The kids might.
I've never, may disagree. I don't know. I've never heard of kids.
But yeah, he's been saying this for a minute. I hadn't heard about this, but he's been
saying that he's getting a clone or that he has a clone.
That he has one out there, and he's been talking that
So Kid Boo the rapper is the clone.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
okay.
He's been saying I'm a clone, the original, and then he'll spout out. Some number, XR 25, dies on the home. He's got the whole script down.
Right.
And, I didn't, but now,
and so
he set up some tech.
And so he got arrested for being a pervert too?
No, he actually, I don't know if he got arrested or just got the cops called on him, but I heard about this story because they were talking about it on the radio. He was at a hotel and got the cops called for like a domestic dispute, and when the cops got there to arrest him, this is what he was yelling about, that he was a clone.
And you can't arrest me, I'm a clone. I'm not a...
So I guess he's into it. I just thought he was like full of shit, and he was just trying to get... Because there's so many of these young rappers.
So why do you not think he's full of shit now?
Well, I don't know, like,
because he got
this
arrested?
article doesn't talk about that
telling
hotel
the cops,
arrest.
like, oh, it's my clone.
Oh, so you thought he was just joking, but now you think
no,
he's
I didn't
crazy,
think he was joking.
I
think that there's so many of these young guy rappers coming out.
Right.
There's young this, young.
Aren't they all clones?
No, I'm just saying.
Well, he's saying that Gucci.
It's a competitive market, is what I'm saying.
Right.
SoundCloud rappers.
So the way to do it is not even be human anymore.
You got to have an edge.
Right.
Right.
Like Lil Wayne said, he wasn't human.
People like Kiss wore all the makeup.
Right.
That was their angle. That was their gimmick.
Yeah.
They grew into superstardom.
Right.
But a lot of people got in the door like, man, these guys are freaky.
Yeah. Didn't you see Kiss 4 times?
Oh, God. Let's just get this show on the road.
What's next?
Are they still playing music?
Kiss, I don't know. I maybe know one or two songs by Kiss.
What year was their heyday? Is this like an age? Is this ageism?
Kiss was 70s. Kiss was right. Kiss was like I don't know which part of the 70s. I think they were late 70s. I would guess that their biggest hit was probably like 1977, but I could be way off.
Not me. I did see the Gene. What's his name? Gene Simmons.
Yeah, with the big old.
He had a reality show. Off the cuff of Sharon and Ozzy Osbourne's successful.
Okay, I was pretty close. Their biggest hit, Rock and Roll All Night, was 1975.
See, I would have never guessed that. Yeah. They might as well have been making music in the 50s for all I know.
Yeah. Well, no, they didn't.
He was addressed the rumors on Snapchat saying, I hear that Gucci is a clone. I will neither support nor deny those accusations. He later added more fuel to the fire with his First Day Out of the Feds video, which features multiple versions of the Atlanta rapper. And then it has a link to the clone on it that he had on his Instagram. So pretty creative angle, I guess. But
yeah.
If he's getting the cops.
But someone outed him saying that he has an identical twin. So I feel
he needs to be outed?
Yeah, someone outed him.
Somebody needs
someone
to go
said, he's lying.
Oh, he's lying.
Turns out he wasn't a clone.
What's that guy's talent?
We were all full
being a narc.
Yeah.
Snitching on a guy's good idea.
So he does. So it's been confirmed that he has an identical twin.
It just says that that's what fans said on Instagram. He has.
A fan on Instagram confirmed.
Fans, I don't know.
Yeah. This guy looks like such a peacock. Anyways, I don't know if he's got a twin because he's got the long pink dreadlocks, and we'll put a picture of him out here. But he's heavily tattooed. He looks like SoundCloud rapper. Right.
The picture will be on our YouTube if you're watching there. Otherwise, you can look up this guy. It's Kid Boo, B-U-U.
Good for him and his new angle, and he'd probably be still turning and burning that thing if he didn't have a snitch friend.
Yeah.
So,
do you think that clones would be more or less egomaniacal than ourselves, or just the same? Because this guy,
I think that they want to.
This clone's an egomaniac, right? He wants to be, but he's saying he's the clone. I'm surprised he's not saying I'm the one. He's the clone. And that's because that's what you see in.
Well, it's a better
movies.
sell to say I'm the clone, because then he doesn't have to take credit for all his shitty behavior. He can
right,
be like, look, dude.
But assuming he is a clone.
Yeah, the whole thing's just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
But would I think that a clone or me as a pair with my clone would be an egomaniac? Is that what you're asking? Or if I was just the clone, if I would be an egomaniac?
I think I was asking, let's say this. If you were just the clone,
okay,
do you think you would be, do you think you would want to be the Jon McKenzie?
I would probably be focused on just staying alive.
Being a clone, because you're like one of the first clones.
Well, if you're the 15th clone, you don't want to get caught.
Well, that's
slipping.
One of the first. Yeah,
NASA or somebody's going to come get you and fucking
NASA,
whoever.
Yeah,
some scientist at large, some federal science.
Right,
they're going to put your ass on a metal table, and put some fingers in your butthole and see what you're made of. Like
that's probably true.
Yeah, you don't want to get caught. There's probably clones, and they're probably living in
right. So if you were a clone, though, you would probably want to assert that you were the Jon McKenzie and have the real Jon McKenzie be dead.
That's an angle, and I could probably come up with all sorts of that while I was like hiding in a sewer system.
Right.
I need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the knees out of the OG guy.
Right.
And usurp him. And
so as a clone, do you think? So let's assume you're a clone that doesn't require food and water.
Well, then you're talking about like an android or something. You're talking about something completely different.
So that's not so much a clone, I guess.
Nah, I think a clone's just like.
But couldn't you genetically mutate yourself some way to just absorb sunlight?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know. This is so out of my field.
And then you couldn't be in a sewer. You'd die if you were.
Yeah, this is out of my pay grade.
So we asked on social media for some submissions.
This will be fun. I was kind of looking forward to this one.
For some submissions for originally we had asked for some movie submissions, and we're going to choose. We're going to have Lindsay choose a movie for us to watch, and we are going to watch that and then talk about it on our next podcast. However, for today, we also asked for some song recommendations. And the song was something that is maybe overlooked by popular media, and that maybe we haven't heard before.
Yeah.
And we got a lot of recommendations.
It's getting hard for me.
Right.
It's probably
slightly more difficult for me.
You've heard a lot of music.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of music.
Classically, we don't agree on much music.
And classically, we don't agree on most music.
I don't know if we've ever agreed on a single song.
We have.
What was it?
We both like Dolls.
Yeah, there you go. We went to a concert. Dolls brought us together at a time in our lives where
we weren't much
speaking.
And more may be revealed in that, but I don't know. But not
that's
this
a dicey
podcast.
One.
Not
Tune
this
in
podcast.
to episode 17.
I think 17's the one for that. Who should we have on for that one? We won't even disclose that.
I don't know. I don't know if there's somebody that could be on. Maybe like some relative.
But there was a dicey time in our relationship, and Dolls. We went and saw Dolls.
Dolls brought us together.
At Stubbs.
We
Stubbs
stood just enough apart.
About this distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And didn't really speak that much during it.
The distance you want when you're with a man at a concert.
Yeah, you don't want to be holding their hand necessarily.
Touching elbows.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, unless that's your persuasion, if you want to hold hands
right. But neither of us did at the time and don't yet.
We went and used the restroom independently.
Right.
Which I guess I don't go to a lot of concerts, so I don't know the rules.
You definitely you do use the restroom independently at most concerts. And this isn't a general rule based on gender or anything. I have seen it happen more often with women where they'll use it together. But as a general rule, you use it independently.
When Steele always pisses alone.
Solo, especially at a concert.
It's known about that, yeah. And then on the contrary, Sloane Breeden, also known as Sloane Breeden, always will only urinate with people.
Really?
Only with people. Yeah, he has to bring his dog into the restroom when he's home alone to be able to use the restroom. He just has to sit there. It's not anything weird. Is that true? He has to urinate with people. It's like the opposite of pee shy.
Do you know him?
Yeah.
Can you confirm?
Does that sound like it's something that's true?
Yeah.
It could
now I've seen videos of him, and he fucking goes off like a Roman candle at concerts.
Oh, he does. He has a good time. Sloane is a good time at a concert.
Dude.
If anybody's in Austin and they know Sloane Breeden, that's the guy to go to a concert with. Yeah,
I'm not a big concert guy, anyways. And if
he's big into jam bands and stuff.
Yeah, and more power to him. But he would stress me out.
Right.
If I went to,
I saw one of the recommendations on these songs was a Fish song called Waste. And we're not going to do that one. I don't think, Laser, that wasn't the one you picked, huh?
No.
Okay, and Sloane Breeden liked that, yeah. And I could see him dancing to it.
I think I have an ex that's really into like traveling around to see a Fish cover band.
Yeah, that's what they're either all in or they're just. I personally have seen them a couple of times, and there's a Fish cover band here in town that's really good.
Shout out Audrey.
Live One, yeah. There's a band called A Live One. Here in town. They also do a Talking Heads cover band, who I'm a much bigger fan of, called Heartburn, and they're here in town, and they are fantastic. Okay, so anyways, Laser is going to pick.
Fish?
No.
Talking Heads?
Yeah, her dad was a big Talking Heads fan. Me and Laser's dad bonded over Talking Heads.
Dad's a real cool guy. That's what I heard.
He is.
He's a cool guy.
He's a cool guy, yeah.
Okay.
So anyways, so there was so we got a bunch of recommendations on Facebook, and we don't know what song Laser's going to pick. And
so how are we doing this? You got your is she?
Yeah, I've got this bad boy hooked up to Bluetooth, and we're just going to play it. And Laser's going to tell me which song to pick. I'm just going to go to the Facebook post, and you'll tell me which one to.
Well, you can even go to Spotify.
Well, she.
Okay, then yeah, just I'm on Spotify. Tell me what song.
The song I picked is "Fistful of Love" by Anthony and the Johnsons.
Okay.
All right.
That's got to be about a pecker.
I was lying.
A pecker, huh? Why wouldn't it be?
Fistful of Love.
Yeah. Why a pecker? Why not?
Why
it could
a
be.
Fist?
Yeah.
Full of fists.
No, I mean it could be a fist in somewhere, or it could maybe be
fistful of love. What do you think the love is?
John's right.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but couldn't you also have like?
Well, play the song.
Like the Trump move. All right.
Yeah, I suppose. Yes.
Yeah. So Fistful of Love. This is Fistful of Love by Anthony and the Johnsons. And do you know who recommended that? Do you have that up?
Yes, it was somebody named Paige, and I cannot say her last name properly. Probably
Paige
Biersdorfer.
Paige Biersdorfer.
Okay.
Is that one of your friends?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know how to pronounce it right? Is that right?
Is that right?
Well, that's not her maiden name. I knew her by her maiden name. But
Okay.
That's her, I think. Her.
So thanks for the suggestion, Paige. And thanks, Laser,
that's
for
my homie from way back. I
choosing
used to
that.
wait tables with her when I was like 22.
Okay, we'll disregard any of that and just give an honest appraisal of the song. In fact, we maybe shouldn't, because I might like if my
I'll have
uncle
to edit that out, 'cause
Right.
We don't want people.
No, we're not going to edit it out, but
Well.
yeah.
There's a couple
what are you
things
gonna
I want
edit
edited.
out?
I said some
Wind
not kosher stuff that probably needs to be bleep.
Oh man, dude, you're
You
going to put me
can't
to
edit
work.
out Win Steele. You already called him out.
Yeah, no, we're
Nah,
name
that guy
dropping.
sounds like a solid name. But,
He's a solid dude. We're name dropping around here. And so Paige. Okay, and so thanks, Paige, for the submission, and I'm sure she's fine with it. She put it on Facebook, and we're gonna listen to your song, which is "Fistful of Love" by Anthony and the Johnsons. This does sound very phallic,
it's very sexual.
very phallic.
Sounds like it's leading nowhere good or everywhere
Right.
good.
Okay. Let's do it. You want to pull up the lyrics while we listen?
I was lying in my bed last night, staring at a ceiling full of stars, when it suddenly hit me. I just have to let you know how I feel.
We live together.
Oh man, I don't like that guy's voice. Can you see this?
Now look
It doesn't matter. You need to hear the lyrics. He's
and
whining.
seas open up to me.
Sounds like Tracy Chapman.
I tell
I can see
you I
that a
love you.
Go ahead, turn it down a little too
And I
loud.
always will.
Do we have to listen to the whole thing?
No, we don't.
But I could see why Paige likes this song.
I like it. It's interesting. It's because it sounds like it's probably. Let me pause it real quick. It sounds like it's probably made pretty recently. Laser, do you know when it was? Oh, what happened?
Battery died just right now.
Fuck.
Well, I've had to piss, so I've been like, ooh.
And the seas open up to me.
What's wrong with it?
I kind of like the vibrato in his voice.
I
good.
tell you I love you.
It's a little much, maybe.
And I always will.
What's he talking about? Love?
And I know you can't tell me.
You know what I bet this is about?
What's that?
I know
Child abuse.
Do you think so? Fistful of Love.
I feel
So
your
you think
fist,
maybe-
and I know it's out of love.
Oh.
Kapah!
Wow.
Daddy coming home drunk.
So do you think
Really
it's
came in hot on
so
that
do you think
one,
it's
Josh.
child abuse or do you think it's domestic abuse?
I feel your fist. You think his wife's coming home and beating his ass?
Maybe he's singing from the perspective of a woman who's been beaten
God,
and he's trying to explain his own terrible
Yeah.
behaviors.
That's a weird angle.
Maybe, I don't know. Yeah, I think you're probably on the money with that. It's pretty good. It's interesting. I like this guitar in the background now.
I feel the whip, and I know it's out of love.
Okay. Yeah, you're probably right. I think you're
Pick a
right.
switch. You ever have to pick a switch?
I dig it. Do you like it?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't.
I like
This will
that.
probably be the last time I hear it.
Yeah. I actually may check in more of it. And that was submitted by Paige.
Paige
Yes.
Biersdorfer.
Paige Biersdorfer. Thank you for the submission, Paige. And we'll be,
Texas
shout out to her.
Roadhouse.
And we'll be glad to get to some other submissions.
Y'all worked there together?
Yeah.
Cool.
At like 22. A couple years ago.
Yeah. So we'll be glad to get to some more of those submissions. We'll be asking for some more social media submissions, right?
Yeah. If there's a song that you want us to listen to, leave it a comment. And again, you can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/Egomaniac Podcast.
Right.
Instagram, that's our handle as well, @Egomaniac Podcast.
Yeah.
And where we're most likely to see a comment is on
YouTube, that's correct. Yeah, that's where we're most likely to see it, and that's where our main presence is going to be.
To see us. If you're listening to us on Audible or iTunes,
right,
you can go over to youtube.com whenever you get home from work or your automobile drive and watch this episode.
That's right. Yeah, so we're wrapping this one up. You got anything exciting going on the rest of the week, John?
No, I don't. I'll be working, and I'm sure we'll be nuts deep trying to edit this thing together. Thank
right
you
on.
for joining us on pilot episode.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know. I'm going to see the zombies. I don't. You know who they are? The
Cranberries.
Zombies. No.
That's
yeah.
why.